Good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Daniel Umstead, host of the RNG Radio Show. And if this is your first time tuning in, thanks so much for joining. So on the show, I discuss a few things. I go over credit repair, real estate, some resume writing tips, and some motivation to get you on through the day. So let's start it off. First things first, with the credit repair. The reason why I talk about the credit repair is because there's certain things that need to get done in order for you to have a better lifestyle. I'm not pushing some program onto you or pushing some advice and action steps that you need to take. I'm merely showing you the different ways that can benefit you with good credit. Now, if you want to get started right now, give me a call, 267-702-3756, or feel free to listen as I go over some 9 tips that I checked out on Still.com to help you along the way. So, on Still.com, they talked about 9 different benefits of just having good credit. So starting with the first one, car insurance. I myself didn't even realize with car insurance how it can be effective for you. So getting better rates on your car insurance really has a lot to do with your credit. So if you have a low credit score, your rates for insurance from one person to the next might be different just because of that monthly premium, which is attached to your credit score. So that's one thing. The second thing is increasing your approval chances for rental and mortgage applications. I know this, being a realtor myself, having people say like, oh yeah, man, I'm ready to get into a rental, or I'm ready to buy this property, or I'm ready to get started. And then it's like, well, how's your credit doing? It's like, what? No, I got the money for it. I'm not so much worried about the credit. Well, nowadays, in order to, especially if you're looking to take out a loan. Now, if you got the cash and you looking to buy a $250,000 home, and you have $250,000, by all means, definitely go for it. But if you're struggling, or if you're may have the cash to put down on a deposit, but you don't quite have the credit where it needs to be yet, this is why you need to get started. Number 3, the better interest rates on your mortgage. Now that goes along with points. I don't want so much to be looking at both the mortgage and rental application, but definitely your insurance rates on your mortgage itself. So there's a thing called PMI, which is private mortgage insurance, and typically they're points, you know. So if you are, let's say, applying for a home and your credit's kind of shoddy, it's not supposed to be where it's at, but it is steadily increasing just from actions that you're taking. The mortgage lender might be looking, it's like, well, if you're able to take these things into effect or take care of these prior to getting a home, we might be able to shave off a couple of points. And that points, honestly, is a percentage of how much the house is. So think of it this way, $100,000 home, and the PMI, or the points, is 2 points. That's 2 percentage points. You know, that's $2,000. It's literally 2% of $100,000. So $2,000 just for the fact that you yourself is not getting to where it needs to be at with the credit. So folks, you know, take that into account and take that into effect. I know it's like, no, but I need to get in, or I need to move, or I need to do this right now. And it might not be that way if you just take the time to actually do things to build up your credit, or join a credit repair program that I work with a financial services company for. And again, 267-702-3756. Now, number 4, which is one thing that I actually realized in my recruiting job, because we work with a couple of clients that actually require a decent credit score, or going through a credit check where they can't be over a certain amount. So student loans, they kind of push to the side and saying like, hey, person has student loans is fine. But if they defaulted on the student loans, we can't even move forward. Now, mind you, the crazy part about the job is that it's actually paying $12 an hour. I think $11.22 an hour was the actually hourly rate. And I'm like, well, they could get a job in McDonald's. They can't get a job in McDonald's, but if they are in desperate need and folks are looking for a job, and this is the only thing they can turn to, hey, having a decent credit score will increase your chances of a better job and a better career for yourself. Number 5, paying less for security deposits. So this goes back into the mortgage loan. This goes back into the rental application. This even goes back down to like a big purchase, if you will, where Even if you were looking to get a phone, you know, sometimes they say like, oh yeah, we don't do any credit checks, but then it's like as soon as you go through the paperwork, hey, we're gonna need $500. We didn't realize how bad you are. So make sure that you know you're paying less for security deposits by having that decent credit score. So. And typically, like, you know, for the rental, they'll be asking for 3 months. But if your credit score is showing like maybe in the high 600s, low 700s, you might be able to get away with just only putting down 2 months down. I know for a fact, like if you were looking at a $2,000 rental, I know that they only look at actually just making sure that the first 2 months are covered, especially because their assumption is that, hey, if you're able to pay $2,000 a month, you must be having some decent credit. They're still doing the credit check and a credit background and all that, but just to be able to get that pinnacle where it's like, hey, I only have to worry about 2 months and not 3 months, is a good avenue to start with. Number 6, improve your chances for a credit card and loan approval. Now, you will get stuff in the mail. I get Capital One stuff all the time that says like, oh, hey, you got to get on this if you're trying to get a decent credit score, or hey, we're able to cover out your current loan. Or the other really creepy thing that I do get from Capital One is that they give me the same exact amount all the time. Maybe it's off by like $10 or $15, but definitely the roundabout figure that matches how much I owe on credit cards, saying like, hey, how about having in your bank account right now? We can do that today by merely getting you set up on a new credit card or a brand new loan approval. So be careful of those, because they're honestly just tricks and ways for them to double check, triple, quadruple check, I should say, your credit score to make sure that it matches up. And even with the pre-approval, folks, the only pre-approval you really should be like focused on and concerned about is getting a house, and or if you are looking for a car. And something as far as getting a pre-approved for a credit card, that's just merely getting you on the phone and then them letting you know about the program. Because hey, nobody can honestly assess, because if you are pre-approved, let's say for a car, 9 times out of 10 you already did the paperwork that showed that you're pre-approved for a car, and the same thing for a house to show that you're pre-approved. Because especially when it comes to home buying and home searching, you want to ensure, my realtor friends, you want to ensure the fact that it's like, hey, listen, you know what? I'm going to go with this individual because they're actually pre-approved, rather than going with somebody who's not pre-approved. So make sure that you know that credit score is up there for that. Number 7, getting approved for a credit card higher limits. Now, I talked about this before as far as credit utilization and how often you should actually be using your credit card. So if you have $1,000 credit card balance, your usage of it should be no more than 30%, 35% at the max. So I realized this, of course, at a later age in life. So hey, we're all to blame. You know, some of the mistakes that we thought we had, we thought we knew about, we didn't know about it until now, which is fine. We're here now, and you're watching the RNG Radio Show. So starting off with, you know, making you know, that $1,000 credit card, how you get that higher balance or how you get that higher usage is keeping track of it and keeping it under that certain amount. Because once a credit card company sees that, this person didn't seem to go over $350. I see he's utilizing the credit rate where it's supposed to be at. Well, we're not only going to increase this balance because we want to touch it, because credit card companies don't make money. They tap you out at the max and tap you out where they feel that you should be at. So, you know, if you have $1,000 in the credit card balance, it's like for them, it's like, all right, if they follow suit or if they follow where they need to go to, then we can bring them up to 2,000. And it's like, oh man, are you kidding me? Now they're not going past 600? Okay, now we're just going to increase it more. Because the more that they increase, the more uses that you have. And in the long run, you do better rather than just, you know, maxing out $1,000 and then dealing with a high interest rate. Because now, when they have you at $1,000 or even more than that, when you max out your credit card, they're able to hit you back to back to back with those high interest charges. So be sure that, you know, and understand that, hey, listen, it's not just about having a higher credit card limit, but it's also having a better usage and increasing your score along the way. Number 8, getting better interest rates. We talked about this before. Any place that you go to, Best Buy, you know, if you're looking to get, you know, TV set and everything like that, or even just simply going through Apple and everything like that. The other one that I was even looking into myself before I had started with the credit, especially when it came to Trip, was called Affirm. With Affirm payment, they go based upon your credit score, and if it's not where it's supposed to be at, then you might not be able to take that trip. Okay, so with Affirm, they typically work with like Expedia, where you can pretty much work out like a payment plan, but that interest rate comes into effect because it's like, hey, yeah, you can pay 20 bucks a month, but hey, based upon your credit score, we're only going to tackle on maybe like 10%. So, but if you're like at that bare minimum where they just pass you through, and this even goes with credit cards as well, they might be like, wow, you just, this is what's going to happen. Because of your credit score, we're going to increase that interest rate up to 26%. Hey, take it or leave it. Take it or leave it. And, you know, credit card companies thrive on the ones that, you know, are in desperate need, especially when they have a higher interest rate. And I mean, who wouldn't? I'm able, and I just want y'all to be clear about this. So a standard card and everything like that is, especially maybe you're getting a good car note and you have an 8.8% interest rate. So for every dollar, that's 8 cents. Rounded up, it's 9 cents. So that's pretty decent. Now, for a credit card company that charges like 25, 26%, every dollar is around 25 cents or 26 cents. So you do the math, folks. I mean, charging something is, let's say, $10, you know, let's say if you needed $10 of gas, or if you got one of them big trucks and you're using your gas a lot, that's $100 maybe during the week. So you're using your card for $100, yet the interest rate that you're paying the following month is 25. So you technically spend $125 on gas. In addition, God forbid if you're late, there's also those fees as well, folks. So typically it gets to the point where you're paying like times a 1.5. And then of course they just slide in there with you, letting you know like, hey, just to listen, just to let you know, you only have to pay the minimum balance. You only got to pay $25. So for you, you're like, cool, okay, that's good enough. But yet, when you put down that minimum payment of $25 or $30, what have you, all that does is increase that interest rate, increases that interest rate. And you're really just throwing away money and burning it. So make sure that, you know, you're keeping track of it. And if you have any questions about enrollment, be sure to give me a call, 267-702-3756. Last but not least, have more negotiating power. And I definitely want to read this directly. Finally, good credit gives you more negotiating power when setting the terms for loans or financing. So you set the bar when you go into these meetings with the banks. You set the bar when you are dealing with the mortgage lender. You set the bar when you're applying for a credit card. So instead of the ball being in their court, the ball can be now in your court. So folks, take advantage. Do what you need to do. Check out my recent videos that I talked about in regards to building up your credit. But above all, give me a call if you got any questions on it, 267-702-3756. And now, on to our next segment of real estate. Hey folks, prior to us actually getting back into discussing real estate, a dear friend of mine, Amanda Brandon, actually wanted me to share with you all in regards to a friend of hers, Amanda Hathaway, who's actually currently going through leukemia. Our best friend, neighbor, frontline worker, Amanda Hathaway, has just been diagnosed with leukemia. She's 32 years old and has been a frontline worker at St. Mary's Hospital for the past 12 years. She also does home care for COVID and elderly patients with Bucks County, PA. And amazing, Amanda has 2 amazing little boys, ages 1 and 3, Weston and Carson, and an incredible husband, Josh Hathaway, who is also a frontline worker for 10 plus years, doing night shifts as an EMT first responder, also for St. Mary's Hospital. So if you have it in your heart to donate, the link will be at the bottom of this channel right here, so that way you can definitely contribute. So Amanda Hathaway, definitely keep you in your prayers, and wishing you a successful recovery and beating this leukemia. All right, so folks, getting on to with real estate. So I checked out HubSpot, and HubSpot came across a article that talks about 12 insanely successful real estate strategies that one can use, and that they actually took from my top agents. So I'm actually going to just read the list with you, and then just point out which ones you actually should be focusing on. So the first one is creating a website. That alone you should definitely have. If not, your brokerage should actually be providing that for you. Without a website, there's really no marketing and no way that people can actually click on a link to find out more about you or find out more about what you do in regards to your listings. With eXp Realty, folks, it's a no-brainer. Give me a call, 267-702-3756. There's a way that you can actually just pull up a listing through eXp Realty on your website and then just forecast it and share it. So if somebody's interested in that specific house or wanting to know more about you, that's actually the place that they would go to, and it just directly links to you. So the chat with the agent, if you have a question or you just need more information, when somebody actually goes through that link, they're coming straight to you. So you need something like that where it captures folks in it. And above all, when you're out marketing, hey, you got a website, be sure to showcase it all. Build a blog. Now with the blog, it can be done via LinkedIn, it can be done via Facebook, it can be done via WordPress, but you need something out there that's actually going to showcase as far as what you're talking about and actually show that you are actually human rather than saying, I sell real estate, I buy homes, I can rent you out today. So you need something that's actually going to put that flavor and back into your lifestyle. Number 3, develop email marketing campaigns. I have not touched on this as of yet for myself, but definitely even getting my own personal newsletter ready for the radio show. But I would highly recommend you start with MailChimp, as I find them to be the most user-friendly and getting you to where you need to be at. Employ virtual staging. Now, with the virtual staging, you can pretty much have it set up where somebody comes in with a camera and they're pretty much checking it out, and then you have your virtual video as far as the virtual walkthrough. Try experiential marketing. Now with that, you got to do your research on that because not every market is going to be the same when it comes to experiential marketing. So be sure to say like, hey, and do something as simple. Experiential marketing, Philadelphia, PA. Experiential marketing, Chicago, Illinois. Experiential marketing, Houston, Texas. Just to pull those ideas, folks. All the information that I've given to you, this is why it's free advice, is because I'm researching it for you. So the same thing with the experiential marketing, do the same thing for yourself. Partner with local businesses. Now, when I say partner with local businesses, find those businesses that actually meet your needs, that actually fit your criteria. You know, if you're a person that doesn't like knitting, don't go to Michael's or another arts and crafts stores and say like, hey, we'd love to be a part of this. What is that, a needle? I don't even know what that is, but that's great. No, you want to be partnering with local businesses that match you. Restaurants are actually a great one to go with. So, or where you go to get services done on a monthly basis. For my barbershop, when I go there, every single time that you go there, there's a business card right there with my information on it. So I'm blessed to have that. So continue on with something like that, and you're just asking a simple question. Hey, is it all right if I leave my business card here? Or hey, is it all right if I put this flyer up here? That's all. Run paid Instagram promotion, and this is with Facebook, Instagram, and so forth. And my best advice that I would give to you is that unless you're struggling, if you're struggling, definitely take this off. But if you're able to afford $1 a day, put $1 on a recent ad that you did through your Facebook page, or whether it be through your Instagram, or even pull out an old one that you've done before. Because the more traction, the more that you get involved, all you're doing is trying to build up your number. Nobody becomes successful with just 300 or 400 followers. They get more successful when they got 3,000, 4,000, 40,000, because when they put something out, somebody is immediately sharing it or commenting on it because they want to be part of that following, especially when they see that you got that big number. Use drone photography. Hire somebody, find somebody. I'm pretty sure you can go on Craigslist, or just putting it out there in the social media world. Hey, who has a drone that I could use for some photography, and go for it from there. Create a Zillow profile. That is easily done, folks. You just go on Zillow, you set it up that you are a realtor, and then you put in the email address that you would like you to utilize. and boom, that's that. Now, as you get more and more deeper with Zillow, you can become one of the top preferred realtors. So that way, the moment that somebody sees a house, they can easily just get in contact with you directly. But had you had a website, you can actually just find that same house through your listings on eXp Realty. Well, that is if you're with eXp Realty. So if you're with eXp Realty and you're in your market area and you notice a house that is also featured through eXp Realty listings, which I believe up to date is about over 150 million. So, but hey, do your own research and check that on your own. But above all, I want you to actually, create something that pulls people in. Asking for referrals. That's a no-brainer, folks. You should always be engaging with folks, and every single day, folks should be knowing. I know the general rule is like, oh, you need to get in contact with 20 people or 25 people to let them know who you are, what you do. Let one person know. Just let one person a day know, because with that one person a day, that will build up to your 2 people a day, your 5 people a day, and eventually your 20 people a day. Because if you're out here as a realtor right now and a day goes by and folks don't know that you're a realtor, hey, you're doing bad for your business, because you're not marketing even for something as simple as saying, hey, I'm a realtor, folks, don't forget. It's that simple. Make your own videos, such as this right now. You can make your own videos. And as an advice to all realtors who are watching this right now, if you'd like to be on the show, I don't care which brokerage that you're with, whether it's your own. Of course, if you're with eXp Realty, that's all the better. But I want to be able to help folks market, and we're marketing each other. Realtors got to stick together. And last but not least, co-host a webinar. So whether it be like a lunch and learn type of thing, where you're just giving out free information or value, co-host a first-time homebuyers workshop. There are so many 12-step programs, 15-step programs for folks to go through that you can easily just hop right into one and just make a list of it and go through. So whether it be done via audio, whether it be done via video, but saving that information, creating a quick flyer, and then putting it on YouTube. Now, if you're having any difficulty with this, be sure to give me a call, 267-702-3756. So folks, again, be sure to check out that Amanda Hathaway's fundraiser in the links below. And before we get to the resume writing, I'm actually going to let you know, instead of resume writing tips today, there was some information about PUA. So in a moment, we will be talking about that just shortly. So back at it, and I'm here to talk to you about in regards to PUA, which is Pandemic Unemployment Assistance, and like I said, PUA. So folks, this is pretty much as far as for those who, exhausted all their unemployment benefits, just really don't know where to turn. So this is an option. But I want you to also realize something too, folks, that you yourself is an option. You yourself have a focus. You yourself can, actually get out there. And whether you're unable to work or find something to find work, I don't want you to feel that, hey, I did everything else that I could and I still need money coming in, and PUA seems to be the only option. So I'm going to go over some frequently asked questions that were actually listed on the PUA.uc.pa.gov website, or just merely Google PUA in your local area. So first and foremost, PUA. We talked about it being the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance, and typically what it is that the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security CARES Act created a new temporary federal program called Pandemic Unemployment Assistance. So what it does is it provides up to 39 weeks of unemployment benefits to individuals not eligible for regular unemployment compensation for whatever it be. So, and I want folks to realize who all are applying for this. Anybody and everybody that's honestly not working. So understand, the competition that you're in regards to just putting this out. And I understand that, some folks can't get their business started. Some folks can't just go out there and find a job, but some folks just for safety reasons are just unable to. So with the PUA, individuals are covered, which includes self-employed, independent contractors, gig economic workers, and even workers for certain religious entities. So for those who are working in church, but with the church closed down, really not allowing a lot of people in, these folks can apply for it as well. So how do I know if I should apply for regular unemployment or for the PUA? So you should file for regular unemployment if you've been laid off, your hours have been reduced through no fault of your own, and you cannot work because a medical or public official has directed you to quarantine or self-isolation because of COVID-19, or you're caring for someone who is suspected of having or has tested positive for COVID-19. Now, you should file for PUA if you're ineligible for the benefits we just talked about, and you're self-employed or seeking part-time work, lack sufficient work history, or have exhausted all rights to your unemployment compensation benefits. So this PUA is pretty much like the last straw. You filed unemployment, you're not getting that, or you're not getting a response for that. You're still looking for work, part-time work, and it's like you just can't seem to catch a break. So the PUA definitely comes in as that assistance. Now, you may be eligible for PUA if you are self-employed, do not have sufficient work history to qualify for regular unemployment, and again, exhausted your rights to regular unemployment compensation benefits or even extended benefits. Because I know with unemployment compensation, it might go past a certain time period for those who can be qualified, but if you're not, this is definitely the time to look into PUA. Another question that they asked, or the biggest one, should be this: how do I file for PUA? So locally, like I said, if you go to uc.pa.gov or just simply Google PUA, or you can look up the full term Pandemic Unemployment Assistance, you'll be able to find out more information. Now, how to actually determine if you're self-employed, everybody's going to be listed as different as far as being self-employed. Some folks who may be doing like side contract gig jobs who are doing on a weekly basis under the table might be in a different category than somebody who's, let's say, a realtor, such as myself, and just really can't catch a break. But if you're a realtor in this market, give me a call, because we both got to be working together, because there's no reason, but that's a whole different topic. Now, to be considered as an independent contractor, and this is based on what they're saying, the uc.pa.gov, the individual has been and will continue to be free from control or direction over the performance of the services involved, both under the contract of service and, in fact, as to such services, the individual is customarily engaged in an independently established trade, occupation, profession, or business. So if your business is not allowing you to continue on because either they're closed or either nobody's allowed to go in, especially with some of these offices only allowing certain people in, if you can't fully function, then hey, the PUA might be something to look into. The individual has a written contract to perform the services. The individual is free from control or direction, as mentioned before. Now, let's say you never worked a day in your life. Let's say COVID hit and it's like, whoa, man, I can't definitely not get unemployment. What can I do? So are you eligible? Now, you may be eligible for PUA if you were scheduled to commence employment and do not have a job or unable to reach the job as a direct result of the COVID-19 public health emergency, or your job offer was rescinded. So let's say that you had a job opportunity, but for whatever reason, because of COVID, it actually turned away. Then it's like, hey, I can't work anymore. So that might be part of that eligibility. Or you have become the breadwinner or a major supporter for a household because the household has died as a direct result of COVID-19. This stuff is facts, folks, so be sure to check out your research. Now, my small business owners, you may be eligible for PUA if your primary source of income. Now, I myself, I do work full-time, but I have these multiple streams of income as far as with real estate, the resume writing, and other such avenues. So me, myself, I want to be eligible. But if I was just merely focused on this and I had no more unemployment to go through, then yes, I myself would be eligible for PUA. So if you see yourself in that category, be sure to, look into it like, do I have my own business where I must rely upon myself? The example that they give on here is like if you have your own farm. So how my weekly benefit amount be calculated if I don't provide proof of base period wages? Well, if you do not provide proof of base period wages, your weekly benefit amount will be reduced based on whichever is higher. The record of wages already on file for the minimum PUA weekly benefit amount, and that's just going by what everybody else was receiving. And then on top of that, you may be able to submit additional paperwork. So let's say they just give you $100 on a weekly basis and you're like, well, I can't survive off of this. So at that point in time, you need to get proof to show that it's like, hey, listen, I have this to take care of, I have that to take care of. So it just goes back into that conversation. So folks, this is going to be a lot of work. It's not just merely fill it out, fill in the information, click, and just wait for a check to come in the mail. You will need to actually do your research on making sure that you are eligible. And two, once you do become eligible, making sure that you do get the highest amount. The money is there, folks. It's just a matter of how you're going to be taking that action to obtain it. Now, if you want to get more information on it, go to uc.pa.gov. And honestly, folks, this is for the ones who are directed towards my small business owners who may be having a struggling time as far as getting their business out there. And it's like, hey, listen, I'm stuck in a position and I'm not sure where to go. Or if you exhausted all of your unemployment, and really just going on Career Builder, Monster.com, Indeed, ZipRecruiter is just not being as resourceful as it is because a lot of jobs are like, oh, we're waiting for the pandemic to slow down, or they're pretty much putting you in a tight position where you're unsure what's going to happen, especially if you got kids, which I completely understand, and September comes and it's like, well, how long can I stay at this job? Or how long are they going to keep me on if I'm going to be having in a position where I might need to still take care of my kids? So be sure to do your research, and definitely we're in the midst of July, so do your research so that way you can prepare for the future. So the other thing that I wanted to talk to you about, of course, is my Kings and Queens section. Now, for my Kings and Queens portion, I looked up the inventor Lonnie Johnson. Now, when I was looking up African-American inventors, for whatever reason, they were talking about folks that from the way past. And folks, we're a lot smarter now. We got a whole lot more technology in our hands. So there should be more and more and more inventors. Hint, hint, wink, wink. So get out there, Google what you're trying to invent, get out there and seek what there's a need for. Now, Lonnie Johnson, for the name might not sound familiar, but for my generation, the super soakers, pumping them up with water and then shooting and spraying everybody. That inventor was the Lonnie Johnson. So born October 6th, he's an American inventor, aerospace engineer, and entrepreneur whose work history includes working for the U.S. Air Force and also being a 12-year stint working for NASA, including the Jet Propulsion Laboratory. But his most famous work is inventing the Super Soaker water gun, which established in 1990 and has been among the world's best-selling toys ever since. So check out more information about Lonnie Johnson, and then I leave you with this, folks, as far as motivation to get you through the day. Whatever you got going on in your life, whatever you feel that it's like, hey, I'm not going to get past this obstacle. I'm not going to get past this hurdle. I am not going to get past to where I need to be at because I have all this stuff in front of me. You need to take those 5 minutes, and it only takes 5 minutes to actually realize your dream, actually realizing what hope is out there, what need is out there. And folks, maybe that need is something within you. It's like, hey, how can I make folks better by not receiving PUA? How can businesses thrive during a crisis like this? What can schools and teachers do in a time like this where virtual learning might be a hurdle? So finding that need, finding something that combats with what is going on currently in society will have you do so much more better in life, and in the long run make you wealthy. Nobody who has helped millions of people has come out as a broke individual. If you want to try me, go ahead and try me and show me proof, but definitely if you're helping 1 million people, there's no reason why 1 million people aren't helping you back. So with that, folks, have a great one. Enjoy the day. And as always, you know what I'm going to say, folks, stay blessed, my fellow millionaires.
Fleslet on the beat.